Hello there. Welcome to the Word Cafe podcast. This podcast has been designed with created content that centers on the power of words. Can we really do anything without speaking? Can we really do anything without the agency of words? Yes, that is what this podcast is all about. And I am your host, Amakri Isobe, your neighborhood word trader. I believe in the power of words, for it is the unit of creation. I trade in words to profit my world.
Oh, yep. We're going to start from, hi, how are you? How are you doing? Forgive me. I was just carried away, super excited, here again to share something with you. So, I think we did something on knowledge management, yeah. And I want us to pick it up from there. What I want to talk about is what I call the HR new model. And I'm going to begin by telling you some stories. Yes, human resources management new model. I'll begin by sharing some story with you, then I'll zoom in onto the, gist. Yep. The other day I came upon this report on profitable businesses globally, as in the 10 most profitable businesses globally. And out of the 10, 7 belong to the oil and gas or the energy sector, if we want to call it that. Then the other 3 to the technology space. That's Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet. That's the Google company, So I looked at it for a while and I said, wow. So the energy space is still bubbling, and the tech space is also bubbling. You had, for the energy sector or the companies within that space, you had names like Saudi Aramco, ExxonMobil, Shell, and all of that. So, what has that got to do with HR, you may be wondering? What has HR got to do with all of this? Okay, all right then. Before now, the subject of HR, when you talk about HR, what comes to people's mind is the pay master, administrative activities and all that. But the COVID-19 pandemic, just barely 4 years away, opened up a lot of, gaps and laps within the industry or the working space, and brought HR to the fore. Like, we need HR more than ever now, So all of a sudden, a subject matter that was thrown to the background, was relegated to the background, all of a sudden now came to the fore. And everybody's just like, how do we go about this and all that? 2 things came to my mind when I looked at the industry, the business environment: profit and prosperity. Profit and prosperity. Profitability versus prosperity. Because businesses are designed in such a way that you want to make profit, obviously. That's how they are designed. You want to make profit. You have shareholders or investors' interest to protect, those who invest in your business, and you want to give back. But there's this other part of it, prosperity, prosperity that we don't look at. Now, it is now coming to the fore. When you talk about prosperity, for me, it is like talking about the totality of the business. The totality here now bringing both the inanimate and animate aspects of the business, the tangibles and intangibles. For me, I look at it as process and human beings. Everybody wants to be happy. The way businesses are designed, they are designed to provide services, but these services don't run themselves. They are run by human beings. And these human beings bring in a form of resource, what we call talent. So it's like they also want to be seen. They also want to be recognized. They also want to be like part of this profitability. They want to prosper. The other day I had a discussion, with a group of people. I was called upon to, talk to them. And I asked a question. I said, if we take a group photograph now and the images come out and I show each and every one a picture, give them the picture to see, what would you look for first in the picture? Everybody somehow said, I'll look for myself first. I said, why? I just want to look. I said, okay. Basically, what I think there is, you want to see how you look in the big picture, how you fit, how you make it look different. You want to prosper. You want to be part of that discussion, right? So that is it. So it's not about just making profit now. It's about prosperity. So what has HRO got to do with that? Yes. When you look at this, it means the model we've been running on in doing business globally needs to change. The model has been running on this, for the lack of better expression, slave, master, you're driving the process, so it's like you give a target and all of that, not minding that behind the processes, behind the runnings, there is a humanity. And this humanity wants to be appreciated. So that is where human resource management comes into play. I always say it whenever I talk about human resources, that people don't like being managed. They love being led. Yes. Ask anybody intuitively, just have that discussion. You manage processes. You manage the intangibles, but you lead humanity. What does that mean? You influence. You bring about this atmosphere that would allow the human within that person to flow. He or she begins to express, give that talent, to that degree that you want to see. Now, basically, when you look at human resource management, we talk about things like people management, you talk about things like organization, you talk about things like structure, you talk about things like performance management and all of that. Then you look at the other aspect of it that has to do with remuneration and benefits and what have you. But it has been, from my position or from where I stand, my opinion, it's been practiced over the years like a slave master. The COVID-19 year, the growth of knowledge economy has changed the landscape totally. So now people want to be seen. They want to be heard. They want to be felt. They want to be not just appreciated, like really appreciated. So the model needs to change from just profit to prosperity. From, I repeat myself, profit to prosperity. What does that mean? This is what I think it is for me, the way I see it. Somebody who comes to give his talent. By the way, when you talk about talent, we always look at talent as a fixed item. We refer to talent like a personality, an individual, or that talent. That I don't see it that way. I see talent as something that is fluid, that can be built, engineered, increased, or diminished. It exists within the human soul. When you say somebody is talented, is not enough. When you bring discipline to that talent, it grows in quotient. Am I speaking to mini grammar? Sorry, forgive me. But that is how I see it. So people want to be appreciated. They want to be loved. They want to be welcomed. So prosperity is about everybody growing as a result of a process. That's how I see it. It's prosperity. It's not like you're making so much money for one individual, and the crumbs come to you. But imagine that you have a stake. Ownership mindset comes into play. So you begin to showcase the best of yourself on that stage called organization or a company. That is what I think in this generation, that companies, businesses should begin to rethink. The millennials, as we call them, the young people, the young resource who are coming into the business space now, they have a different mindset, pretty different. They want to own their time. They want to own their space. They want to be the boss of themselves. But you and I know that may not happen overnight, but in a prosperity atmosphere, they will. They will appreciate it. So now we need to go back. Look at the models that we are running now as HR. Is it the pyramidal, model? And do we look at it to embrace a secular model? The pyramidal model puts the boss at the top. It has this top-down mindset. That's how it runs. The base is just like a pyramid, the base is pretty big, large, and all of that, but the top. So everybody's like grappling. They want to get to that top and all of that. So they do all sorts. But this generation has changed that narrative. Can we look at it from a secular perspective? A secular thinking. Secular thinking, I mean addressing everybody, where we all come to the table, just like King Arthur, the story of King Arthur and his knights, they all sat on a table. But if you look at the structure of the table, it was a secular table, not a pyramidal table. In his mindset, we all sit on this table, showing that equality, showing that stake that we all have in this business. So imagine we follow that path. That is what is playing out now. Yes. When you talk about the silent quitting, you talk about people, the great resignation, check the number of people who are in there. The young. They are more or less like looking at themselves like, I want to do stuff with my life. I want to be better. And all that. So imagine you giving them that, seat on the secular table. They bring their talent to play, and they are remunerated or rewarded for it. So if it falls, we all fall. If it grows, obviously, we are all growing. So that is what I think, policymakers in this time and age should begin to rethink the model. Prosperity versus profit. Profitability versus prosperity. You look at it. Now, you come to see that even in the job market today, a lot of things are changing. The jobs that we used to know, things that we used to see before, they are all disappearing as a result of the growth, of knowledge and the mindset of these people, the millennials, the young people in our generation, in our dispensation. So you see, we need to begin to think of how best do we craft our jobs now? How best do we craft our jobs? Job crafting, I mean. How best do we craft it? The job descriptions, how best do we come about it? Do we look at it from the perspective of benefit or profit, or we look at it from the perspective of prosperity? Do you know that If you reach out to somebody and let the person know what he or she means to this process, more or less revealing their ownership, they will give more. They will give more. They will give more. They will do over and beyond what you think. So I think it's time for the HRO practitioners, policymakers to begin to rethink the model. Yep, rethink the HRO model. And rethinking it from, like I said earlier, profit, prosperity, profit, prosperity, profit, prosperity. It will keep evolving. That is the truth. The model will keep evolving. But if we don't evolve with the model, you come to see that we begin to lose great talents. They leave. They just leave. They go where they will be appreciated, recognized. Did I say so much? Did I speak above your head? I don't think so. Yes, I love the subject of HR, being within that space. It's been amazing for me. I've been in the space for over 15 years, and I know, looking at, businesses across the globe, those that are profitable, those that are making so much profit, and all of that. But now I think it's time to look at the profiting or the progress of the people behind the process. All right, guys, we can do it. We can be better. Yes. My name is Amakri. Amakri Isoboye. Bye for now.
Awesome time it has been with you on the World Cafe podcast today. Thank you for being there. You can catch me up on my social media handles, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, all at Amakri Isoboye. Also, you can get copies of my books, A Cocktail of Words, The Color of Words, my HRO notebook, and Hawker's Focus on God on Amazon and Roving Heights online bookstores. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel at the same address at Amakri Isoboye. I love to hear from you and how this podcast has impacted you